Hello, friends. Welcome to Sprints Tonight. Sorry I'm late. My camera was not showing up and I haven't changed anything, but I finally got it working. So here we are. I'm so happy you all are here tonight. So let's hit some of the comments up and then we'll talk about how crafting is going to work or not work, depending on if you're going to be doing that or not. We have Susan in. Hello. She says, good evening, all. And Adina is here. She says, hello, everyone. I'm reading The Restitching of Camille Dulaine by Lindsay A. Franklin. Interesting. And Lucy's here. Hey, Lucy, are you not working tonight? And that's me just telling you all that I'm having the camera issue. And Morgan's here. She says, I'll be reading Where Lilacs Still Bloom by Jane Kirkpatrick. In between sprints, she'll be loom knitting. That's so cool. And Jamie is here and she says, hello. Okay, so let me know if you're going to be crafting it all tonight, if you're going to be doing it while we chat and then physically reading during the sprints, or if you're going to be listening to an audio book during the sprints and doing some hands-on crafting. Let me know. I do have the project that I shared on my community post. So I picked these colors here to make the friendship bracelet. I have my instructions, but I didn't print out the picture. I did print out the tying technique too. So I'm excited to give that a try. I do need to find my clipboard that I think is under a couple of things over there so that I can hook my embroidery floss to it so I can start doing the knots. This is just DMC embroidery floss. I already cut my lengths, and the first instruction was to center, to double up the length, which was 2 yards plus like 6 3/4 inches, 2 strands of each color, and then you just fold it in half and then tie a knot about 3 inches down. So I've done all that. I'm just almost ready to start my knots. I'll be doing it during the first sprint. And I was going to be listening to the Marlowe Murder Club by Robert Thorogood, but I finished that. And then I was going to be listening to the second book, which is Death Comes to Marlowe, but I finished that. And then I was going to be listening to the third book, which was Queen of Poison, I think is what it's called. But I just finished that on my way home from work. So I need to find an audiobook to listen to. Maybe book 4 of that series is available on Libby. That's how I've been checking those books out. Yeah, it's The Queen of Poisons. That was book 3. I hope it is available because I'm really enjoying this series a lot. And the audiobooks are a good size, like 9 hours, but I'm just like flying through them. So I hope that 4th one is available. If it's not, then I may listen to Emma M. Lyon, volume 5. I think that's where I'm at with that series. So we shall see. What I do also, it's Jane Austen July now, and the group read on Katie's Jane Austen July Discord is Mansfield Park. So if I have that audiobook, I'm not sure if I do or not because it's not one of my favorites, I might listen to that tonight. We shall see. But when we go into our first sprint, I need to get my either iced tea or soda or whatever it is that I'm going to drink tonight and get myself all situated and ready. I'm super excited though. And let me know if any of you are trying this bracelet. And Lucy says she's off and she has her 3 colors picked and she has the pattern loaded. And she says, I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's super pretty and I'm excited to try it. It has been literally decades since I've made an embroidery floss bracelet. I think the last time was with my Girl Scout troop when my niece was little, probably in brownies, and that was quite a while ago. She's 23 now, so I'm sure it's been a while since I've done one of these. So we'll see how it goes. And Jamie says she's editing and listening to A Change of Plans, and she'll probably work on her diamond art. That's another thing that's really helping me get through these audiobooks is so quickly is I have a diamond art project that I've been working on for a while. And it's like a little kitty cat, and he's a little gray kitty cat in like some flowers, and I've done some good progress on it. So I've got his little paws right here, and I'm working on this section over here, which are some of the flowers. But yes, so this also has been keeping me occupied. Depending on how fast the bracelet goes, I might switch over to that diamond art later. And Steve is here. Hey, Steve. He says, I'm here as well, reading Wing Feather and The Last Battle. I don't know if I'm crafting. It's totally fair. And also, just so you know, I would consider Lego crafting. And Paige is here, and she says, hi, reading Extreme Justice by Jack Mars. Hey, Paige. Steve says, I'm invested in reorganizing my Lego Star Wars collection. Awesome. And Katrie's here. Hey, Katrie. She says, hello, reading Tea with Elephants, and then might also try working on some editing. That's awesome. I've heard really good things about that Tea with Elephants. Who was it that first read it? Maybe Amanda was the first person I heard talk about it, but there's been so many people that have been loving that. And what is it? The gelato at the Villa. Is that what it's called? And Jamie says, I've got to get started on Mansfield Park. Yeah, I haven't. I don't even know if I have it like on audio. I know I have it physically, but the physical copy that I have is one of those like small collector's editions. Let me see. I think Humphrey wants to take over the live, but this is my little edition, and it's really nice, and it's a nice size for holding, and the print isn't too bad, but still I probably would like it a little bigger than that. But yeah, if I do physically read it, it'll probably be in this edition. And Annie's here. Hey, Annie. She says, hi, all. I'm listening to Homing by Grace Livingston Hill and sketching in my book journal. Are there beads in your bracelet? There are not beads, but it does look like there are beads. It's just the way the knots are tied. If you looked at the picture, that makes it look like it has beads. But I think once I do the bracelet, I might be able to figure out like how to add beads to it. But at this point, I'm just following the pattern and not trying to change anything in it, because like I said, it's been a long time since I've done any embroidery floss bracelets. I need to move that out of Humphrey's reach. And Lucy says, I've got my diamond art going too. It's ready in case the bracelet is a fail. And Jamie says, I need to get some of those little squares. I got those at Hobby Lobby, and I think it was like $4.99 for like a huge pack, and they are reusable. So what I've been doing is as I'm uncovering a section, I'm just sticking it under. This is my box where I have my beads. So I'm just sticking it underneath those for the next time I need to use them. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to go check his food bowl to see if he finished his morning food. And Jamie says, I just finished book 3 in Tea with Elephant series last night. It was good, but I think tea is still my favorite. That's interesting, Jamie, because I heard a lot of people like the gelato one better than the tea one. But yeah, interesting. And she says, I love GLH. GLH. Tell me what that is because my brain's not working, Jamie. GLH. Can I figure that out? What were we talking about? Oh, was that the book? Yes. Grace Livingston Hill that Annie's reading. Okay. Excellent. All right, guys, we have been almost 15 minutes here. So let's go ahead and get our first sprint started. Like I said, I'm going to go get my drink, whatever that may be, maybe a snack, get everything all set up and organized. And then I'm going to start my bracelet. If you guys are doing the bracelet and run into some issue, go ahead and put your question in the comments because I'll be monitoring that too and see if I can help out, or maybe you guys can help me out. We shall see. Let's set our banner for 40 minutes. So that'll bring us at 55 after back to the comments. And yes, Grace Livingston Hill. Thank you, ladies. And let's go to 55. And I'll see you all back. I have a ambiance for us. Happy reading. Hey friends, we are back a little later than normal. I'm just like all over the place tonight because I forgot to check that the banner was going. I forgot to turn the sound on, the ambiance on, and I forgot to come back on time. But here we are. How did everybody do that sprint? Katrina is saying thanks because I put the banner up and I was letting her know that we were supposed to be back at 55. And Sammy's here. Hey, Sammy. She says, I'll be reading Summer Romance by Annabelle Monahan. And hey, Allie. She says, hi, friends. I will be reading Pride and Prejudice. Yay! And possibly Love and Letter Charms, Book 3 in the Charmed Leaf Legacy series by Rachel Morgan. Might cross-stitch some too. Yay, excellent. Annie got to chapter 9. I did find book 4 of this series that I'm reading. It's called Murder on the Marlowe Bell, and I'm on chapter 5 now. I'm listening at 1.5 speed. So that was pretty quick once I started it. I'm really enjoying that series a lot. It's a nice, cozy mystery. As far as my bracelet project, I started it and I'm getting all my cords tangled, especially because I'm having to do keep away from Humphrey. So I'm actually going to take apart the knots that I have done, and I'm going to wind my strands on little cards so that it'll be easier to move them around without getting tangled. Kind of like bobbins with the bobbin lace, if anybody does that. I don't, but I would love to, and I've seen my friend does it, and I've seen her working the bobbins, and I think it's very smart to have those long strands on a bobbin or card in my case to be able to move them around. Let's see. Katrina says, finished Old Yeller for my sad book prompt. Now reading War Dog Heroes for Canine prompt. What is this? Readathon that you're doing, Katrina? And Morgan read 27 pages. That is really good. Did you get some loom knitting done, Morgan? Let me know. I'm going to be untying some knots here. I also got strawberry limeade drink, so it doesn't have sugar in it. It's like one of those little mix-in packets for water. It does taste like the strawberry limeade from Sonic, but it's not crushed ice. That's all right. Let's see. Anybody else want to check in? And Katrina says, learned about Stubby and now about dogs being officially introduced into the American military in 1943. Interesting. Oh, that's so cool. War Dog Heroes. What readathon is this? Is this one that I wonder if it's one that I just haven't looked at the prompts, but I am doing, or if it's not at all one of the ones that I'm actively doing this year. I've been thinking a lot about readathons. Okay. She says, I'm doing the Deck of TBR readathon this month, and she's at 43 points. That's really good. I'm not doing that one, but I was thinking a lot this year about the readathons that I'm doing, and what I know we're only in July, but I'm already thinking of next year, and I'm not sure that I'm going to be doing participating in as many readathons next year. Because you guys know I'm a big mood reader, and sometimes the readathons, I want to fill all the prompts, but that ends up filling my month up with books that I'm fine reading, but maybe not necessarily the ones that I would pick if I was just picking books that I wanted to read. And Tanya, hey Tanya, she says, hey everyone, I'm going to get some coloring done while listening to Reveal a Reckless Love by Robin Lee Hatcher. I haven't heard of her. I had some credits in the audiobooks.com that I'm subscribed to. So I was trying to pick books, but it's really, they don't separate them out other than the broad genres. So like they don't have like Christian fiction as one of the ways to sort out to the books. So you kind of just have to go through the regular. So like if I was looking for a Regency romance, it's going to be in the romance category. And then I have to see what the book's about. If I'm interested, then I need to look at Goodreads to see, you know, how it's classified, what it's rated, if it's clean or not. I'm not so much concerned about a book being Christian fiction as I am about it being clean. So that's, you know, a little tricky when I'm trying to pick a book to kind of investigate unless I've heard of it before. The reason I brought all that up though is because there was an author whose name was Robin, the first name, and I was like, okay, I know that there are some Christian fiction authors named Robin, but I wasn't sure if that was one of them or not. I don't even remember if I had like checked further to see if she was, or if I just like, you know, kept looking at the other books that were available. But I didn't end up picking any books. I still have my credit. So I will, later on when I have time, I will look more thoroughly through that list and see what I can pick from it that I'm relatively certain would be clean. And Morgan says, I'm loom knitting right now. I'm working on a blanket that I started at least a year ago, maybe longer than that. Yeah, it's so funny. I took my crochet blanket project to work today instead of my diamond art because it's getting harder to keep my diamond art like nice when I'm carrying it around. So I decided to take my crochet blanket, and I was doing it during my break, and my coworker asked me what I was doing. Was I making what did she say, a poncho? And I said, no, I'm making a blanket. But I literally started that blanket, I think 2 years ago. And I'm still working on it. It has grown a little bit because I have picked it up more in the last few weeks, but it's still not super big. So maybe it'll be finished in another couple of years, but maybe it'll be finished sooner. It is crochet, so it is faster than knitting a blanket, but it's still, if you're not picking it up, it's not going to get bigger, right? So this is how much I've got so far. So right now it covers like from my neck to about halfway to my knee. But yeah, so that's as far as I've gotten on that. That's another potential project for craft night. And I see I'm getting, let me move this over here. Let's see if that, I felt like I was in a big old shadow. And it's so hot right now. It's 97 outside. And my air conditioner is just constantly going, and it's probably only like 77 inside, which is warm. And Jamie says, oops, I forgot I was on a live. You're on a live? And, oh, you mean you forgot to come back? That's fine. Katrina says, are you able to do parental checks on books and Goodreads? I don't know. And Tanya says, Robin Lee Hatcher is a Christian fiction writer. I really like her writing. Is Robin Merrill another one? I'm not sure about her. And Allie says, that's so pretty, Em. Thank you, Allie. I really do like how it's turning out, and it's just like a granny stitch blanket. It's just the three double crochets and then in each space, and just kind of going in a block around. So it's pretty simple. I do like it because it gives my hands something to do when I'm listening to an audiobook or even like watching a TV show, more a TV show that I've already watched, like a rewatch, rather than something new, because then I want to actually see it. With a rewatch, I do tend to like do crafts that I maybe not have to um, look up at the TV as much, because I already know what's happening on there. There's one series, Rosemary and Thyme. I have DVDs of it. It came out like in 2003 or 2005 or something. And I've had the DVDs almost as long, I think probably when it came out on DVD. So it is one that's very easy for me to just like rewatch. I think there's only 3 seasons, and I think there's only like 6 to 8, maybe 10 episodes in each season. So generally, especially when times are like stuff was going on at work last year at the beginning of the year, and everything that I was doing was a reread or a rewatch. And I would watch Rosemary and Thyme, get to that last episode, and then start all the way back over again. It's a British cozy mystery, and it's just like gardens. They're gardeners, and so all of the scenery is gorgeous. But I would just put it on and know that the scenery was there, almost like an ambiance, and just do whatever crafting I was doing. It was just so comfort inducing for me last year. All right, guys, we're almost at 15 again. So we'll be starting another sprint soon. Lucy says, I'm failing at the bracelet. You know what, Lucy? I really do think, and I don't know, your huskies are not as bad as my cat, but every time I like pull the strand, because it's very long, he wants to chase it. So I am going to try to undo and start over, but having each floss strand on a card. And so that then it's a shorter amount of floss that I'm working with, and hopefully it does not attract Humphrey's attention as much. So we'll see how that goes. So during this next sprint, I'm going to be undoing the knots that I started and winding each strand onto a card, and we'll try again. If it's still like a big old mess, then I may put that aside for another time and work on my crochet or my diamond dart. And Tanya says, speaking of TV, what was up with that year where Angela Lansbury was hardly on Murder, She Wrote season 7? It's like she was telling a story but wasn't on there a lot. Yeah, when there was like the guest storytellers, like the one guy that was like the insurance guy that was like a thief before he was an insurance guy, was telling some of the stories. Is that the season you're talking about? I love Murder, She Wrote. That's another comfort watch for me. I was really excited because a couple of weeks ago, all of the seasons, like the whole series was in a bundle for $24.99, either on Apple or on Prime. Both of them had it for $24.99. I do have all of the DVDs, but it's a big collection and I have it like in my craft room. So it was really nice to get it on streaming where I can just, pick it from my remote control. But yeah, I think I'm trying to remember, because I know there was a time when she was having some health issues and she kind of stepped back. And that might have been when she and her husband had taken over the like executive producing the show. That, and then I think that's what I read, that it was just a lot, because back then TV seasons were like what, 23 episodes, 23 to 26 episodes a season. So I think that she was burnt out and was like taking time. And Steve says 2 chapters in the 3rd book of Wing Feather. Good job. I need to get back to that series sometime. I just read book 1 and I really enjoyed it. And Tanya says, I've been watching it a lot on that Roku channel. I miss her on those. Yeah, yeah. Have you read any of the books, Tanya? Because it's totally like an episode. I've read a few of them and I have a few more that I haven't read yet. Allie says, Murder, She Wrote is one of my top cozy faves too. My brother gifted me the whole series on DVD last year for Christmas. That's really cool. Is your DVD series the thinner box? The one that I have is like the fatter boxes. So each season is like about 2 inches big. But I know they changed packaging after that to where it's maybe like 3/4 of an inch to an inch per season because of the way they fit the discs in there. Mine just takes up a lot of space, so I have it not in my TV cabinet. I have it in the craft room. And Tanya says, I've never read them. That was a great gift, Allie. Yes, that's amazing. Okay, guys, we're going to start a little late, but we're still going to go the same. And maybe this time I'll keep track of it better. We'll go to 55 again. I'm going to retry my bracelet, and I might switch out to my diamond dart or my crochet blanket if it doesn't work like I'm hoping it will. And Allie says, mine are about 3 inches per case with 6 seasons in each. That's pretty good because mine is like one season is like 2.5 to 3 inches and there's like 12 seasons. Yeah. And Allie says, it was, Tanya. Yay. Okay, let's get our sprint started. We went a little longer, so it's going to be a little less than 40 minutes. But we'll be back at 55, and I will turn on the sound and put the banner up, and we'll see you back at 55. All right, we are back. So I did not get very far on my bracelet again. I just went up to step 6. I'm on, oh, and I just put my strand down, so I don't even know where I'm at. This might be something that I need to do on the weekend. So that was my last go at trying to do the bracelet tonight during sprints. And I will be switching over either to diamond art or to my crochet blanket. And I'll just try this bracelet again because I do want to do it. Okay, and as far as reading, I did get a little farther in my audio book. I am up to chapter 7 now. And put all this stuff away. Let's see how y'all did. Kelly is back. She says, we watched a bit of a movie as well. I'm reading Crazy Love by Frances Chan for the rest of the sprint. Nice. And Whitney's here. Hey, Whitney. She says, hello, everyone. I will be reading The Westing Game, one of my favorite books by Ellen Raskin, as well as Ink and Ivy by Ashley Willingham. That Ink and Ivy is really intriguing me. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about it. And Whitney says, Kelly, I remember starting Crazy Love by Frances Chan and was loving it, but I need to pick it up and actually finish it. It's been on my shelf for so long. I remember being mind blown after the video. And Whitney also says, I just love Frances Chan in general. I'm always so inspired, challenged, and encouraged by his love and passion for Jesus. Oh, that's so good. And Morgan read 19 pages. Great. And Whitney says, I miss it. What are you reading, Em? I am listening to Murder on the Marlowe Bell. This is book 4 of the Marlowe Murder Club books. There's 5 of them by Robert Thorogood. He is the creator of the TV series Death in Paradise and the spinoffs Return to Paradise and Beyond Paradise. So it's like a cozy British mystery. The characters in here are 3 women. One of them is the vicar's wife, and I think she's in her maybe early 40s. And then one of them is a dog walker, and I don't know, she might be in her 50s or 60s. And then the other one is a puzzle setter, and she is in her late 70s. There was a series that I started watching on PBS, but I think it was originally in the UK, called The Marlowe Murder Club. And it's also a very cozy British mystery series. I didn't want to watch the series until I read the books. And the first book is the only one. The first series is all book 1. There's 3 series out right now. Series 2 of the TV show is the first 2 episodes are the second book. And then the next 4 episodes are original stories. And then I think for series 3, the third book is the first 2 episodes, and then the rest of it are original series. I think that's how it's working. I'm hoping that they do the other 2 books. So book 4 and 5 is also series 4 and 5 of the TV show, because I am really enjoying it. And Katrina says, 2 chapters in my audiobook while doing dishes, 1 chapter in my physical book while enjoying peppermint tea. Very nice. And Jamie listened to a bit more and continued to edit. Nice, nice. Kelly read 1 chapter. It's a great book so far. I'm glad we're reading it for my book club on Fable. Is that a book club that you host, or is it one that you participate in, Kelly? And Kelly says, yes, Frances Chan is such a great biblical teacher. I've enjoyed everything I've seen from him so far. And Lucy says, my bracelet is going better. It's actually almost cute. She showed me a picture of it, and it is, I don't know if she had a recent picture. Do you have a recent picture you want to share? Mine, like, I've started it 3 times, and this little guy is not helpful because he keeps trying to chase the embroidery floss. And Annie says, finished a page in my book journal. Very nice. And Whitney has a question for everyone. She has KU until the end of this month. Does anyone have any recs for me that are on KU? There was, and I haven't read it, but people have talked about it so much. Callie and the Pumpkin Seed is on there. And a lot of Karen Whittemeyer's, I think, are on there. What else is on KU? Laurel's Dream, Pepper Basham. I think that one is on there. And Kelly says, yes, I host it. And Lucy sent another picture. Well, Kelly, I might have to, well, I don't have Fable, but I might have to check that out. What did I do with my phone? I literally just had it. Oh my goodness. Did I drop it? Found it. Okay, let's look at Lucy's bracelet. Did you send it on Instagram or on Humphrey? Did you send it on Instagram or Telegram, Lucy? Because I only see, oh no, I see it. I got it. Okay, guys, here we go. Lucy's bracelet. Isn't that so cool? You can totally see the chevron forming. Mine looked nothing like that. And Lucy says, Whitney, Karen Whittemeyer. And Katrina says, my favorite Bible teacher is Tom Bradford. Highly recommend him. He goes through the Bible chapter by chapter, breaking down the history and Hebrew understanding. And Kelly says there are books by Ashley Willingham, Pepper Basham, Gabriel Meyer. Yes, there are. And Cheney Hobson. And Whitney's asking Lucy, which book from Karen do you think I would like? And Whitney says, thanks, Kelly. And Kelly says, that's cute, Lucy. And Morgan says, Whitney, I also have a free trial of KU. I'm trying to get all of the Emma M. Lyon books before it ends. Nice. I didn't know that those were on KU. I should check them out. But I've been doing Emma M. Lyon on audio, and I'm really enjoying it. So I might just continue on with the audio. I know that there was going to be a release, and I don't remember when. I think it might be this month, of reissues of the physical books. So I kind of didn't want to have physical books until the new release is out, and then I could pick which edition I would want. But it'd be nice to have them on ebook. And Katrina says, good job, Lucy. Yes, for sure. And Steve finished his 3 chapters in Wing Feather for the buddy read with Lucy, and is also waiting on Micah to catch up with him on chapter 8 of The Last Battle in the Narnia series. And Whitney says, see, I thought about choosing the Emma books, Morgan, but I really want to continue with the audiobooks for that series. I think I really enjoyed the first audiobook. Me too. I really, really love the audiobooks, and I still need to start book 5. I'll probably finish out this series because I also was able to get the 5th book in this series from Libby today when I got the 4th book. So I'll probably finish that before I go on to Emma M. Lyon. I don't have 6 on audio yet, but I have an audio credit. So I might use that credit for book 6, and then I can try to catch up with Emma M. Lyon. And Kay's here. Hello, hello, Kay. She says, hey. And Katrina says, I know Lucy loves Head in the Clouds by Karen. I'm planning on it being my book this month for Jeanette's cursive font prompt. Oh, nice. And Whitney's saying hi to Kay. And Kelly is 70% through Sense and Suitability right now. That's so cool. I think I might read that one for Jane Austen July, because there's always a prompt that you read a book inspired by, or like a modern there is one that's modern adaptation, but there's just one that's like inspired by, or like an adaptation. So I might pick that one for that. Kelly is saying hi to Kay, and Kay is saying hi to Kelly and to Whitney. Love it, love it. And Whitney says, I'm also with you, Em, on wanting to wait to get the Emma books to see which edition to get. I feel like I will most likely get the original. They feel iconic to me at this point. It's true, but then I'm wondering, because those were self-published, if now that they're going to be traditionally published, are the newer books that are released, are they going to be released in the same as the original, or is it all going to be something new? And I deal with it, but I would rather have my collection of a series all have matching or similar covers than to be like different editions. I know some people don't have an issue with that at all. Sometimes I don't. It depends on what the collection is, but more often than not, I would want them to be all the same. So what I'm running into right now is with my Jan Karen books. I moved, and so I stopped reading them around the time that I moved, and I stopped getting the new books as they were being released. And now, like, the ones that I have are like two different styles, and I kind of don't like to look at that on my bookshelf, but I'm not too bothered by it. That series I do enjoy, but it's not dear to me. Like something like Jane Austen works, I would want them all to have a collection of them all the same, which I do. So I like that. And then there's other series. Can you guys hear Humphrey? He's down the hall. I don't know what he's meowing at. Like the Harry Potter one, I have all the original covers, the American original covers. So I like that they all kind of match. But yeah. And Whitney says, oh, you're so right. I didn't even think about that. Ugh, that's sad. I hope they offer both for all of them. Yes, because it's sad for all the people that have up to, what is it, book 9 that's out, or volume 9, that have all of that in one, and then they change it, which I feel like that's happened in some series that I had, where I was keeping up with them, and then all of a sudden they changed with the next book, they changed the look of them, which is very frustrating. But yeah. So officially I'm putting my bracelet down. So next sprint, I will be getting a little snack, and then I will be working. I think I'm going to work on my diamond art. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, because Humphrey is really going after my fibers tonight. So I don't want to pull out my crochet and tempt him with that. So I will do my diamond art. He tends to leave that alone. It doesn't interest him like yarn and embroidery floss and stuff. So I'll switch over to that. And Kelly says, Humphrey is cracking me up right now. Oh my goodness. He is such a character, and he cracks me up a lot too. Look, here he comes. He's just giving me the stare. I did check, and his bowl was empty earlier, so I put some food in there and gave him some treats. But yeah, he just likes to be where the action is. And yeah, he just jumped over to his little ottoman, and maybe he'll take a nap. We shall see. But let's get another sprint going. Um, Whitney says, haha, he says, you rang. I know, right? It's like, hear his name and here he comes. But yeah, let's get our next sprint going. So we'll go to 50, and we'll see you back then, and we'll see how everybody's doing if we do another sprint, or if we call it a night after that. Um, yeah, let's get going. We'll see you back at 50 after. Happy reading. Let me get this banner off. All right, so I did do more reading during that sprint. Well, listening to my audiobook, and I'm on chapter 11 now, which is pretty good. And I did get more done on my diamond art. So I have this little part here that I was working on. And I still have some more under here to finish off this little square. So I will probably work on that some more tonight and listen to more audiobook. How did you all do? And then also let me know if you want another sprint or if you all are good stopping now. Allie says, hubby distracted me and I missed the break, read 17 pages of the cozy fantasy, and now I'll go back to reading. Very nice. And Tanya is heading out. She says, thanks for the sprints. You are welcome. And she posted her pic that she colored on Instagram during the sprint. Good night, everyone, and hope you all have a great weekend. Let's see if we can find that coloring page. Let's see if I can find you. Did you change your Instagram also, Tanya? Oh, she sent it on Instagram. Very nice. Okay, good. So this is the lovely picture that she did. Can you guys see that? How's that? It's out of the way. Isn't that so cool? I love it. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. And Lucy has made more progress with her bracelet. And that's so awesome. Kelly read one chapter of Great Expectations. I do love that book a lot, and 2 chapters of Mansfield Park. How did you enjoy your reading, Kelly? I'd love to know. And Morgan says that she read 31 pages, which is so good. And Lucy says, I did another layer of my bracelet and then read my 3 chapters in Wing Feather for her buddy read with Steve. And Whitney read a picture book to baby girl and also listened to almost another full chapter of Ink and Ivy. That is so cool. I remember reading to my nephews and my niece when they were little. It was such a fun time for me, especially when they would get so involved in the story. One of my nieces and her little brother, I read the Betsy Tacy, the first book to them. When they were pretty young, but they would get wrapped up. And I loved the interactions with my niece because she'd ask, what certain things were and like kind of recap to me what was happening in the story. It was so good. And Whitney is down for one more sprint. Nice. And Jamie says, I'm still listening to Change of Plans. Dina DNF'd her book, just wasn't interested. So she went back to Sing the Night that she needs to finish. And Katrina did 15 pages and may read a little bit longer, but not a full sprint, to bottom of the hour tops. Okay. And Kelly says, I love that your daughter joined in on sprints, Whitney. Right? That's so cool. And Steve says, 3 pages away from finishing chapter 2 in Great Expectations. Way to go. And how are you liking it? And Paige says, oh no, I have been not keeping up with the time. My audiobook is on YouTube and I've been missing sprints. Totally fine, Paige. I get that. Sometimes I only have my phone, and so I have to leave sprints if I'm listening to an audiobook, like last night with Jeanette. So I try to set a timer or something so that I could come back when the sprint is over, but I totally missed one one of the breaks in the sprints because I didn't set a timer, and so I was just listening to my audiobook. So it happens, I know. And Annie says she didn't read that time but had some soup and would like another sprint. And Kelly says, I'll be reading Diken's Air with my kids, so I'm up for another sprint. And Kelly says, I'm enjoying both books. I love Mansfield Park, and Great Expectations has a poetic flow to it that I enjoy, although Pip irritates me sometimes. This is true. I like Dickens a lot, but there are things that are annoying. But same with Mansfield Park. The reason it's like lowest on my ranking of Jane Austen books is because some of the characters annoy me. And I just really hate, like also with Jane Austen, I hate when people are mean to little kids. Hate it. And Allie says, I remember Pip being that way for me too, Kelly. And Whitney says, yes, I hope she continues to love reading as she grows. With you reading to her, Whitney, I'm sure that will create a love of reading, a love of story in her. And Whitney says, also, Em, you mentioned that you love the Westing game. I was not expecting it to be this creepy and kind of gory. Yeah. Whitney, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. Like I was a little kid in the 70s. And that book was, I want to say it was in like the mid 70s or later 70s. I read it in middle school. Well, what you call middle school now was seventh. It was junior high when I was little, but I read it during that time. And even though it was like, I read it more recently, a couple of years ago and last year. And it totally, I think I might have done like a little video recap of that. Because I read The Westing Game and From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil Lee Frankweiler, which both of those were some of my favorite books when I was in junior high. But The Westing Game, reading it as an adult versus a junior high kid, like there was so much more that I didn't catch when I was younger. Turtle's mom has a lot of ideas about the other residents that I really didn't catch when I was a little kid. But it did like give more depth to the story as I read it as an adult rather than as a kid in junior high. But I always loved Turtle. I always thought she was funny with her little ideas and stuff. That was like, there wasn't a lot of, other than like Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys, Trixie Belden, there wasn't like a lot of mystery. Like now we have so much cozy mystery, and that kind of was a mystery and a puzzle, and I love puzzles. So did I try to figure out what all the clues were when they started handing them out? Yes, I did. And I think I loved it for that. And Lucy says, do you even have to ask if I want another sprint? I know, right? And Kelly says, yes, Aunt Norris is the worst. She's one of my most hated literary characters. Yeah. And Steve says, I am liking it, but as usual, the old language is a little hard to wrap my head around. For me, Pip seems to be a typical young lad. Pip's story is so interesting. Magwitch, oh my goodness. And Stella, is that her name? I don't remember. But what I always remember from Great Expectations, until I reread it again and get into the story, is Miss Havisham. Oh my goodness. And Whitney says, ooh, I was about to unhaul From the Mixed Up Files. I'm glad you said that. I'm going to keep it and try it. I like that one a lot, Whitney. The kids are crazy, and they definitely are portrayed older than I would think kids would act. But it's still fun. And just the whole idea of that book, I love a lot. And again, it's another kind of mystery in there too. And Steve says, I love that Pip is inquisitive, especially in a time when you do as you are told. Yes, for sure. All right, guys, we're at the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and start our final sprint for tonight. And we'll go 40 minutes, so we'll see you back at 40 after. And we'll wrap up tonight's sprints. Thank you all that crafted along with me tonight. And if you want to show your projects on my community page in the posts, I think I have it set so that you can make a post there if you want to shoot a picture into that. And then everyone can take a look at the craftiness that we got up to tonight. So let's get our ambiance on. And I'll see you back at 40 after. All right, we are back. And I got to chapter 15. So I'm at 39%. And that was a lot of good audio listening for tonight. And I did do more on my diamond art project. I am almost done with that corner. There's a few more gems on there, but I am pretty pleased with how this is coming out. And how did you all do? Tori's here. Hey, Tori. She says, hey, all. Sorry I'm late. And before we read the rest of the comments, Lucy messaged me and she said that she was very tired or she was getting sleepy. And so she was leaving sprints, but she wanted me to say good night to y'all. So good night from Lucy. And Katrina got a little over halfway in her War Dogs book, 45 out of 86. And hope everyone has a good night. You too, Katrina. Have a great night. And Kelly says, I read a chapter of Diken's Air with my kids and then did family Bible study. That's so cool. I love that you do that. And Morgan read 19 pages. Nice. Annie got to 42%. And Jamie, yay, she finished her book. That's so awesome. Oh, so good. Thank you all for joining me tonight on Sprints. I had a really good time trying to figure out my bracelet. It was a little frustrating, but I did get, I think I have it set now, so I'll be able to work on it. And I did get farther on my diamond art, which I really am excited about. I think I started that project last year. Maybe towards around Christmas time or early this year. I'm pretty sure it was in the winter. So I would like to get it done because, of course, I bought another one that I haven't started yet. And yeah, I love that. I love all my crafting. I love that some of you out there crafted with me tonight, whatever your project was. I appreciate it. And we'll have sprints next week too. I haven't thought, there's something that I want to do, but I need to reach out to some people for one of the sprints this month. So I don't know if next week will be enough time for that, but we shall see. And so next week, live at 5 p.m. Pacific, we'll have more reading sprints for Camp Sprint. And let's get through the rest of these comments and then we'll sign off for tonight. Steve says, yeah, Lucy went to sleep, finished my one chapter in I can't talk. I think it's probably time I go to sleep. Finished my one chapter in Great Expectations and started The Paladin Prophecy by Mark Frost. And there's no real chapters per se, but I'm on page 91. And Allie read 15 pages. Good deal. And Jamie says, is video editing crafting too? I would say it's very creative and anything creative counts, Jamie. So that's awesome that you are working on your video editing. I should do that too. But I also just like crafting. All right. And Jamie says, LOL, good night. And a good night to everyone. Thank you again for joining me. I hope to see you next week. And I hope you all have a good evening and a great weekend. Until we meet again, I will see you next time.